Good evening, everyone. It's the special session of the Hoboken Board of Education, September 29th. I'll call this meeting to order now. Mr. Moffat, can you take the roll call?
Mr. Biancamano?
I'm sorry, Mr. Moffat, the statement of compliance.
Oh, sure. This meeting is being held in conformity to the Open Publics Meeting Act. Proper public notice of the meeting was published in the local newspapers on August 13th, 2016. Let me correct that. September 24, 2016, and September 25, 2016. If any board member or member of the public in attendance believes that this meeting is in violation of the Open Publics Meeting Act, the Hoboken Board of Education requests that they make a statement at this time. The board wishes to make those in attendance aware that this meeting is being recorded on video and will be broadcast by the board at a later date on cable television channel 77 and FiOS channel 46. The full meeting recording will also be made available on board docs, which can be accessed through the district's homepage. The Hoboken Board of Education is committed to preserving the decorum of the public process and is mindful that we live in the electronic age of computers, cell phones, and other electronic communication devices. Nevertheless, we respectfully request that all meeting participants kindly silence their electronic devices during the course of the meeting, and if use of the device is necessary, we ask that you please leave the meeting room if you need to conduct personal business. If you could please rise for the salute to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And now the roll call.
Yes, sir. Mr. Biancamano?
Present.
Ms. Evans?
Here.
Dr. Gold?
Here.
Mr. Madigan?
Here.
Mr. McNamara?
Here.
Ms. Sobolov?
Here.
And Mr. Klubfeld?
Here. I have no president's statements this morning, or today, other than to acknowledge the sad and tragic events in Hoboken this morning. And I appreciate the efforts that you keep keeping the board informed of everything that we were doing to keep the community involved and knowledgeable and safe today, so I appreciate that. We're going to move on to superintendent's report.
So I actually don't have a superintendent's report, only to make a public statement about the purpose of the meeting tonight, since it's not our typical process or Tuesday night meeting. The reason that that I asked the Board of Education to come together and have this meeting is because we have some guidelines and regulations that we must follow when we're dealing with long-term leave replacement teachers that are required to fill in for permanent teachers who are going to be out for an extended period of time. So we have a certain amount of days that we need to, or that we are allowed to keep substitute teachers in classrooms without them being considered permanent per se. So as a result of that, we have a situation where we have some hires on the agenda that needed to be appointed prior to the October Board of Education meeting. And so to stay in compliance with that and on track, I asked the board to come together. While we did that and we were putting the agenda together, we had some field trips and we had some things that are typical operational items that we were able to add to the agenda as well. Probably taking some stress off the minds of some teachers that their trips were approved prior to the October meeting, so that's a good thing. And then the last thing was, as everybody knows, and I've said this in governance and personnel, we as a district, as many districts in Hudson County do, struggle with hiring and maintaining paraprofessionals in the district. So as a result of that, we had recommendations put forward by our Director of Special Services for 4 additional paraprofessionals, which is the reason why those individuals were added to the agenda as well. Pending the criminal background checks, as soon as those come in, which should be in within the next couple days, those individuals will be allowed to start, but they will not be placed in the classrooms prior to that.
Thank you. Just going through our agenda, it would be time for, there are no committee reports. This is a special meeting, but it would be time for public comments on agenda items. Mr. Moffett.
I'll go check. I don't think there'll be any. No one has signed up for either.
All right, thank you. Seeing as there is no public comments, we would then move to approval of the consent agenda. If I can have a motion and a second, we can then discuss it.
Motion?
That's Irene and Jennifer.
Yes. I recorded that.
Any discussion, questions?
Yes, just one item. Dr. Johnson, 8.01, the approval of partnership between the Board of Education and Kane University Diversity Council. It was a backup to this item, and I was just curious if you can elaborate on what the partnership entails.
Yes. So this is our second year in the partnership with Kane University. And what the partnership enables us to do is send teachers to professional development workshops regarding topics such as tolerance and anti-discrimination. It also enables us to have professors and officials from Kane University actually come here and offer coursework to our faculty right here. There's one program in particular, it's called SEED. It's seeking educational equity and diversity studies, so it's actually called SEEDS. And what that program does is it allows teachers to go through a 10-part series on kind of understanding different cultures and the families that children are coming from in all of our schools. But in addition, the reason why we wanted to join the council last year and why we want to join it again this year is because Kane has added a whole nother component, and that is a student component. So they have programs for elementary school students and middle school students, as well as high school students, that include everything from museum trips to trips to campus. There are debating competitions and history-oriented programs for the kids, all related to diversity and seeking equity in education. So
it's a program that's free of charge, correct? Or is it covered by a grant, or?
this is a program, the partnership, I believe it's $300 for the district for the year. It's $300 for the district for the year as a membership, and then you enter into this partnership, and that partnership allows you to participate in all the programs.
Great, thank you.
Any other questions? Then I believe we can move on to the vote. Mr. Moffett, would you call the roll, call the vote?
On the consent agenda,
Yes,
Mr. Biancamano,
Aye.
Ms. Evans,
Yes.
Dr. Gold,
Yes.
Mr. Madigan,
Yes.
Mr. McNamara,
Yes.
Ms. Sobolov,
Yes.
and Mr. Klupfeld.
Yes. Consent agenda passes. I would believe that would take us to any other public comments.
Yeah, there was no other
No
public
other
comment
public
listed.
comments. Our next scheduled meeting would be October 11th. And with no other business before the board, is there a motion to close?
Motion?
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.